Prophet Muhammad is very important to Muslims. He brought the message of Islam. Muslims believe he was the last prophet chosen by God. His teachings guide Muslims on how to live a good life. Muhammad was born in Mecca, Saudi Arabia. He was known for his honesty and good character. People trusted him and called him Al-Sadiq, the truthful, and Al-Amin, the trustworthy. He received revelations from God, which became the holy book of Islam, the Quran. The Quran contains God's words. It also teaches about faith, prayer, charity, and more. But the Quran isn't the only source of Islamic teachings. Muslims also learn from the Prophet's life and sayings, called Hadiths. One day, a Bedouin came to Medina. He had heard about Prophet Muhammad. The Bedouin was He wanted to know when it would happen. The Bedouin asked the Prophet, "When will the hour, doomsday, be?" The Prophet could have dismissed the question. Instead, he used it as a chance to teach. He used everyday situations to share wisdom. His teachings were simple and easy to understand. The Prophet didn't give the Bedouin a specific date. He said, "What have you prepared for it?" The Bedouin replied, "Not much of prayer, fasting, or charity, but I love Allah and His Messenger." The Prophet smiled and said, "Loving Allah and His Messenger is a great part of faith." The Prophet's response teaches us about patience. We should focus on our own actions. We should strive to become better Muslims. Worrying about the future won't help. This message is important today. We live in uncertain times. We might feel anxious about the future, but the Prophet's teachings remind us to trust in God. The Prophet emphasized honesty. He said, "Shall I not tell you what is better than the status of a fasting person?" The people said, "Yes, O Messenger of Allah." He said, "Speaking the truth and judging between people with fairness, honesty is crucial for a strong society. When people are truthful, they build trust. Trust is essential for relationships, business, and government. Today, honesty is more important than ever. We face challenges like fake news and corruption. The Prophet's teachings remind us to be truthful in all situations. In another hadith, the Prophet taught about ablution. He said, "Should I not inform you of that by which Allah obliterates the sins and by which ranks are raised?" They said, "Yes, O Messenger of Allah." He said, "Performing ablution well." Ablution is a ritual washing before prayer. It cleanses the body and soul. This hadith shows that even small acts of worship are important. This teaching is relevant today. It reminds us to pay attention to details. Even small actions can have a big impact on our spiritual growth. The Prophet once compared a believer to a date palm tree. He said, "The example of a believer is like that of a date palm tree. The date palm withstands harsh conditions. It provides nourishment and shade. This comparison highlights the qualities of a good Muslim. Like the date palm, we should be strong and resilient. We should benefit others, even in difficult times. This message resonates today. We face challenges like climate change and social injustice. The Prophet's teachings inspire us to remain steadfast and contribute positively to the world. The Prophet emphasized the importance of knowledge. He said, "Seeking knowledge is an obligation upon every Muslim." This applies to both men and women. Knowledge helps us understand the world. It allows us to make informed decisions. It empowers us to contribute to society. In today's information age, seeking knowledge is crucial. We have access to vast amounts of information. The Prophet's teachings remind us to be discerning and seek knowledge that benefits ourselves and others. The Prophet's teachings are timeless. They provide guidance for all aspects of life. They teach us about faith, character, and how to live in harmony with others. His teachings on patience, honesty, and resilience are relevant today. They help us navigate the complexities of modern life. They inspire us to be better individuals and build a better world. Prophet Muhammad's legacy is one of compassion and understanding. His teachings continue to inspire millions worldwide. They offer a path to peace, both within ourselves and in our communities. By studying his life and teachings, we can learn to live with more empathy and purpose. As narrated by Abu Huraira. There is none among the companions of the Prophet who has narrated more hadiths than I, except Abdallah bin Amr bin al-As, who used to write them, and I never did the same. As narrated by Ubaidullah bin Abdullah ibn Abbas said, when the ailment of the Prophet became worse, he said, "Bring for me writing paper, and I will write for you a statement after which you will not go astray." But Umar said, "The Prophet is seriously ill, and we have got Allah's book with us, and that is sufficient for us." But the companions of the Prophet differed about this, and there was a hue and cry. On that the Prophet said to them, "Go away, and leave me alone. It is not right that you should quarrel in front of me." Ibn Abbas came out saying, "It was most unfortunate, a great disaster, that Allah's apostle was prevented from writing that statement for them because of their disagreement and noise." Note: it is apparent from this hadith that Ibn Abbas had witnessed the event and came out saying this statement. The truth is not so, for Ibn Abbas used to say this statement on narrating the hadith and he had not witnessed the event personally. See Fath al-Bari vol. 1 p.220 footnote. See Hadith No. 228 vol. 4. As narrated by Salama. One night Allah's apostle got up and said, "Subhanallah! How many afflictions have been descended tonight, and how many treasures have been disclosed. Go and wake the sleeping lady occupants of these dwellings, his wives, up for prayers. A well-dressed soul in this world may be naked in the hereafter." As narrated by Abdullah bin Umar. Once the Prophet led us in the Isha prayer during the last days of his life, and after finishing it, the prayer, with Taslim, he said, "Do you realize the importance of this night? Nobody present on the surface of the earth tonight will be living after the completion of 100 years from this night." As narrated by Ibn Abbas, I stayed overnight in the house of my aunt Maimuna bint al-Harith, the wife of the Prophet, while the Prophet was there with her during her night turn. The Prophet offered the Isha prayer in the mosque, returned home, and after having prayed 4 rakat, he slept. Later on he got up at night and then asked whether the boy, or he used a similar word, had slept. Then he got up for the prayer, and I stood up by his left side, but he made me stand to his right and offered 5 rakat followed by 2 more rakat. Then he slept and I heard him snoring, and then, after a while, he left for the Fajr prayer. As narrated by Abu Huraira, people say that I have narrated many hadiths, the Prophet's narrations. Had it not been for 2 verses in the Quran, I would not have narrated a single hadith, and the verses are, "Verily those who conceal the clear sign and the guidance which we have sent down," up to, "Most merciful," 2, 159, 160, and no doubt our muhajir, emigrant brothers, used to be busy in the market with their business, bargains, and our Ansari brothers used to be busy with their property, agriculture, but I, Abu Huraira, used to stick to Allah's apostle, contented with what will fill my stomach, and I used to attend that which they used not to attend, and I used to memorize that which they used not to memorize. As narrated by Abu Huraira, I said to Allah's apostle, "I hear many narrations, hadiths from you, but I forget them." Allah's apostle said, "Spread your rida, garment." I did accordingly, and then he moved his hands as if filling them with something, and emptied them in my rida, and then said, "Take and wrap this sheet over your body." I did it, and after that I never forgot anything. As narrated by Ibrahim bin al-Mundir ibn Abi Fudayk, narrated the same as above, Hadith 119, but added that the Prophet had moved his hands as if filling them with something, and then he emptied them in the rida of Abu Huraira. As narrated by Abu Huraira. I have memorized 2 kinds of knowledge from Allah's apostle. I have propagated one of them to you, and if I propagated the second, then my pharynx, throat, would be cut, that is killed, as narrated by Jarir. The Prophet said to me during Hajjat al-Wida, "Let the people keep quiet and listen." Then he said, addressing the people, "Do not become infidels, revert to disbelief after me by striking the necks, cutting the throats of one another, killing each other." As narrated by Said bin Jubair. I said to Ibn Abbas, "Nauf al-Bakali claims that Moses, the companion of Qadir, was not the Moses of Bani Israel, but he was another Moses. Ibn Abbas remarked that the enemy of Allah Nauf was a liar, as narrated by Ubay bin Ka'b. The Prophet said, "Once the Prophet Moses stood up and addressed Bani Israel. He was asked, 'Who is the most learned man amongst the people?' He said, 'I am the most learned.' Allah admonished Moses as he did not attribute absolute knowledge to him, Allah. So Allah inspired to him, 'At the junction of the two seas there is a slave amongst my slaves who is more learned than you.' Moses said, 'O my Lord, how can I meet him?' Allah said, 'Take a fish in a large basket and proceed, and you will find him at the place where you will lose the fish.' So Moses set out along with his servant boy, Yusha bin Nun, and carried a fish in a large basket till they reached a rock, where they laid their heads, that is, lay down, and slept. The fish came out of the basket, and it took its way into the sea as in a tunnel. So it was an amazing thing for both Moses and his servant boy. They proceeded for the rest of that night and the following day. When the day broke, Moses said to his servant boy, 'Bring us our early meal. No doubt we have suffered much fatigue in this journey.' Moses did not get tired till he passed the place about which he was told. There the servant boy told Moses, 'Do you remember when we betook ourselves to the rock? I indeed forgot the fish.' Moses remarked, 'That is what we have been seeking.' So they went back, retracing their footsteps till they reached the rock. There they saw a man covered with a garment, or covering himself